Damian Arula, and Sarah White. Move the mic right in front of you. There you go.
Hi. Good morning, Honorable Supervisors. My name is Tara Baraskas, and I'm here on behalf of a community of friends. We are a nonprofit permanent supportive housing developer and owner. We know that homelessness is a cause that's very important to you, and we want to thank you for that. Particularly, we would like to thank Margaret and Thomas for supporting the motion last week to commit the City of Industry funds. And basically, we would like to just ask that you continue to support this awarding of funds for these projects that are very important. Thank you very much.
Juventino Gomez, Mayor.
Thank you, Supervisor. I'm Juventino J. Gomez, Mayor Pro Tem, City of El Monte. I want to thank the board for approving this item, the industry funds, last week. I want to thank Supervisor Mark Thomas for driving the motion. Real quickly, I'm a disabled American veteran. My oldest son served in Desert Storm, was wounded by a sniper, decorated. My youngest boy has done 2 tours, one in Iraq, one in Afghanistan. And thank God that we had and we have a home to come to. We have thousands of men and women, fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, uncles and aunts that do not have a home. Veterans that have given all they can give have come back with physical, psychological, and for one reason or another, have become homeless. I just encourage this board to approve, to continue to support these men and women, our American soldiers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Damian Arula.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and members of the board. Damian Arula, Economic Development Director with the City of El Monte. Behind Mayor Pro Tem Gomez and I are veterans and supporters of El Monte's Veterans Housing Project. In addition, we have our Mayor, Andre Guerrero, also with us. We as a group would like to sincerely thank all of you for your support of this worthwhile project. We represent the thousands of veterans coming back home, as Mayor Pro Tem Gomez said, that don't have a home, and those that are already living on our streets. The El Monte Housing Project will be a state-of-the-art facility for the men and women who have served our country and be a model for true LA County veterans supportive housing. In fact, it's the first of its kind in the San Gabriel Valley. We thank you again for your leadership and your support, and respectfully ask that you not forget the forgotten and help us serve those that have served us. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah, you'll be next, but let me ask Ben Phillips, Neil McGuffin, and Joe Leal to come forward. Okay, Sarah.
Good morning, Honorable Supervisors. I'm Sarah White. I'm with Clifford Viewers Housing. I simply just want to thank Supervisors Ridley, Thomas, and Molina for introducing the motion last week to backfill the State Industry Program. And I thank the rest of the Board of Supervisors for your support last week in moving things forward. As a developer of permanent supportive housing, I can't express enough my gratitude for your support last week, and I encourage your support of the motion today so we can increase the supply of affordable housing and permanent supportive housing for Los Angeles County residents.
Thank you. Ben Phillips.
Hi, I'm Ben Phillips. Good morning, Supervisors. Other than thanking you for support, I won't repeat what Sarah just said, which was the exact same comments I would make. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're a wise man. Neil McGuffin.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Supervisors. Neil McGuffin, Corporation for Supportive Housing, Associate Director, Los Angeles. I just wanted to reiterate our support for this motion and for your support of it. That I think a couple times today there was talk about the transition age youth or about youth in foster homes. That some of the housing that is providing permanent housing for youth that are aging out of the foster care system. And that we've spoke a lot about vets and that the housing is necessary for them. And I think as Commissioner Molina had said a little while ago, that with costs rising, the economic roundtable studies have shown that permanent supportive housing works and reduces overall public cost of the system. I'd like to thank especially Mark Ridley Thomas for his support of this and for all the supervisors and for Gloria Molina's support. Thank you.
And Joe Leal. And Arnold Sachs. Is Arnold Sachs here?
Before we started, you saw a group of great Americans back there stand up. And what you see back there is American Legion, VFW, AMVETS, New Directions, Volunteers of America. These are all people that have gotten together because when it comes to veterans, it's pretty much a small world, and we do everything that we can to support each other. And we definitely appreciate everything you continue to do to support the vets. I myself, I currently sit in the military system, and I support, mobilize, and bring home Iraq, Afghanistan vets. And I will tell you this, that they're coming home, and they're coming home with PTSD, and they're coming home injured. So by being able, and I thank you for your support for putting together and supporting the San Gabriel Valley housing in the city of El Monte, because a lot of our guys are coming back in the same streets that they have fought before. They're not living in them. My team and I, we go out and we find homeless vets, not because we get paid to do it, but because we need to do it.
Come up with $10 million then. When I first started coming to the meetings in 2006, you had a program where you were going to allocate, I believe it was $2 million to each supervisorial district for homeless services, which turned out to be squat. So that's $10 million there, $10 million for the homeless at 50, and $13 million here. So now you're talking $33 million in homeless funding for homeless proposals. And by the way, I don't even want to say anything about the VA hospital in Westwood that's been sitting around, oh, I don't know, since the mid-40s earlier, the 30s, the 20s, under World War I. And what have you got there as far as affordable housing for vets or any program per se that will lead to affordable housing for vets? I remember going to one of the meetings, the county meeting, government meeting, and they were talking about getting all the homeless off, all the vets off the streets by 5 years. They were talking about 15,000 vets. So I said, that's assuming that you have 15,000 vets, the same number you have now, as you will have in 5 years. You have to give them something. Do something at the VA. You have to give them something. You're talking $30 million right there that you have used or have at your wherewithal, and you have nothing to show for it yet. Except 50 people on the street.
I had one clarification I wanted to make on this, because in the board letter that was on the agenda today, the board letter accurately states that if the City of Industry funds are not available, then the property taxes will be the next source of revenues, and then the county general fund is the last resort. I'd like it to be clarified in this, because the intent was last week that the property tax, it refers to those property taxes that are generated by the receipt of tax increment funds, if there are any tax increment funds that are generated by the time this issue comes to a head. Tax increment funds from the recent dissolution of the redevelopment agencies. So at the end of the day, it's all the same pot, but it should be credited against that portion of the fund, not the general fund. Is that clear to you, Sanjay?
You're trying to take it out?
No, it's last week when you weren't here, but we agreed that we would, with the pecking order, in the event that the housing funds are swept, that the pecking order would be
idea on the timing as to when these funds may need to be utilized?
You mean the ones for this allocation? Yes.
I mean, if we were not to get the industry funds.
I see.
Yeah.
Turn his mic on.
Hello. Thank you, Supervisor. We anticipate the first draw of funds for those projects that are awarded tax credits to be in November.
So if we were to pay for these projects, or have to as backup, and we find out later that the city industry funds can be used, would we get reimbursed?
I'm going to refer to the county council, but I believe the answer to that question is yes.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, yes, if in fact ultimately the industry funds are determined to be a lawful source of expenditure here, then we believe that it would be appropriate and there will be a mechanism available in order for those funds to be reimbursed to the general fund so that it is made whole.
And I think part of your correction there clarified this, but the one thing is that it's structured in such a way that it's a one-time occurrence. That we're not setting precedent here, and everyone's going to expect us to backfill.
Yeah, I'll answer that.
Council or?
Yeah, the answer to that question is yes. This came about, if you'll remember, that you had both AB 26 and AB 27, which allowed redevelopment agencies to continue if they made a payment to the state for the purposes of education. And it's only because of the dissolution of the redevelopment agencies where the courts upheld 26, but then defeated 27 that we're in this predicament. And there'll be no future NOFAs issued with city of industry funds unless and when that becomes resolved.
I mean, because I continue to have concerns about it, I'll support the item. I just, probably, if the veterans piece hadn't been in there, I wouldn't support it, very honestly. Because we've got so many issues confronting us with the state, and we start backfilling. I have a great concern about that, but hopefully we structured this in a sense that we're protected. Hopefully we structured it so that, should we have to move forward, yet industry funds could be used, through a lawsuit or something else that gets clarified, that we get them first.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ricker Thomas.
thank God for the veterans, and I move the entire matter.
Is there any other discussion?
I'll second.
All right, it's moved and seconded. With the clarification, you got the clarification there. All right. Without objection, unanimous vote.
Good, thank you.
$3 million with about $100 million of incentive money that's available from the federal government. We've been working with the CEO to design a way of